Göstereyim mi? Ne yapayım? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here. It was a great pleasure and honor for me, for us, to have you all here. And especially I thank our dear guests who came from Moldova, Mrs. Dr. Michaela Taulean and Mrs. Elena Marzari, and from Moldova, both from Moldova, and Mr. David Farmer from UK, and also Mr. Mustafa Yesha, Dr. Mustafa Yesha from Çukurova University, Dr. Mehmet Boyno from Gaziantep University, and Mr. Recep Kepenek from Diyarbakır, and all the others, yeah. And also I would like to thank our friends who helped us organize this event. Thank you all. It was a great success, I think. I hope so. I hope you all enjoyed your time and you learned a lot. Thank you very much. And we'll listen to David Farmer's speech, his lecture, and after that we'll issue the certificate, and I hope the Dean will be here and the Secretary General will be here. I hope we invited them. So we'll issue the certificates, and thank you for being here. Thanks so much.
Good afternoon, everybody. Lovely to see so many friendly faces, people that I've got to know over the last few days. Thank you to Professor Suleiman Basaran for inviting me to, if I get my names wrong, then I'm sorry, for inviting me. And thank you all for attending and making it such an enjoyable experience, and also to my new colleagues that I've met and learned from. I think we're all, we never stop learning, and I think that's a really important thing to remember. And so we're all in the learning business. And this afternoon, what I'm going to talk about is the use of drama as a creative teaching tool across the curriculum. How can we use drama in different subject areas? So this talk is going to explore the biggest resource that teachers have. And the biggest resource that I believe teachers have available to them is children's imagination. So when you go into a classroom, you've got everything that you need in front of you, their imagination. And children come to school ready for drama. Play is a natural part of their lives before they start school. It helps them to make sense of their place in the world. And their creativity can be harnessed through drama to enable active and interactive learning experiences. And this can happen throughout their early years at school, but it can continue through the rest of their learning experiences. And many of us in the last few days have experienced drama as adults as well. So there is no reason why it should ever stop being used as a teaching technique. So the images that I show to you today will be images of children that I've worked with. Mostly they are children I've worked with in different projects. And this is really to demonstrate to you the age group of children that I begin working with. So these children are 4 years old. And as I said, I'm always learning. I went into this project not really knowing how to work with 4-year-old children. And I was very impressed with how quickly they could learn new drama techniques. So, anybody guess what game they might be playing in this? Pardon? Yes, exactly. They're playing what you call mirror mirror, and I call mirror exercise or mirror game. So one of the children is leading some movement, and the other one is mirroring those movements. So what I'm going to talk about is how drama is used in UK schools, particularly in primary schools. And the reason for that is to do with me. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background before we get into the talk. So when I was a school student at secondary school and I was a teenager, I can remember a visit by a theatre company to the school. And all of us were teenagers, we were probably a bit moody and probably a bit bored, and we were standing around in the hall, and suddenly all these actors burst into the hall, all wearing costumes and creating noise and creating a lot of drama. They started to perform a play right in front of us, and I can't remember what the play was about, but I can remember the effect that drama had on me. I was so excited and so impressed by what could be done by a few people. And this is something that stayed with me for the rest of my school life and since. Around that time we had a drama teacher start at the school. Now the school that I was learning at was called a grammar school, and grammar schools are the most traditional of British schools. So all the teachers used to wear long black cloaks, and they looked a bit like Batman actually. And we had to behave, it was very strict. And so this was in the 1960s and 1970s. And a new teacher came to the school, and he wasn't wearing a cloak, or he wasn't wearing a mortarboard. He was wearing a tie-dye hippie t-shirt. This was the 1960s, and he was our drama teacher. And all of us were very impressed by this man who was wearing different clothes, and he started to show us how exciting drama could be. And he directed plays, and he also led drama workshops. So as you can see, it made me very enthusiastic, and my enthusiasm still continues. So when it was time for me to leave school, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted to do drama in some way. So what do you do when you don't know what to do with your life? You train to be a teacher, of course, like all of us. So, of course, that is a joke. But at my age, my parents were teachers, you see, and they said, well, if you don't know what to do, go to teacher training college. And I chose to go to a college where they taught drama. And for the next 3 years, I had a very exciting time, again, learning new techniques, and I'm going to share some of those with you. After I left teacher training college, I became a teacher, a primary school teacher. I was working with children between 7 years old and 12 years old. And 3 years was enough for me as a teacher, because really I wanted to be an actor. And so I left my teaching job. I had no job at all, and I wanted to set up a theatre company. So I didn't really know what to do. I went to the local arts centre, which is a bit like a theatre, and I talked to some people, and I found some people who wanted to join with me and create a theatre company. I had no real idea of how to do this. And this was around the time that Margaret Thatcher became the Prime Minister in England. And this was not a really sensible time to be starting up new arts activities, because she was not very sympathetic to the arts. But when you are enthusiastic, then politics doesn't really matter. And so myself and my friends decided to set up this theatre company, and it was a theatre in education company. So I've got a picture of myself acting. This was probably about 1983. Oh, after this one. So this is some more children in a drama workshop. So there we are. On the right here, or on your right, is myself wearing a hat. and another actor on the left here, and around us are some children. And we were acting the parts of children who were growing up in the Norfolk Broads, which is an area of marshland near where I live. So this shows you something about the kind of work that we were doing. This was theatre in the round, so the children were all around the actors, and the actors moved around amongst them. We took these plays to schools, so they weren't performed in theatres, they were just performed in the school hall, and we would drive around in a van, take out our scenery and our costumes, perform a play, maybe do a drama workshop with the children, and then drive off to another school. Well, I thought that this might last for about a year, but I continued in this job for 24 years. And at first I was an actor, and then I became the director of the theatre company, also writing plays. So in 2005, I decided to leave the theatre company and go freelance. And since that time, I've been training teachers, writing books, and also I still work in schools with children. I tell stories and I lead drama workshops. Wrong button. There we go. So this is another photograph of my theatre company, and this was in about 2005, and this is the story of Jack and the Beanstalk, which I'm sure you know about. Jack, who travels up to visit the giant, and there you can see Jack and some other actors are lifting up the giant's chair, and you can see how big it was. And the beanstalk is made out of plant pots, which lifted up towards the school ceiling. So, as I said before, dramatic activity is already a natural part of children's lives before they start school, in the form of make-believe play. And it enables them to make sense of their own identity by exploring fictional situations that have parallels in the real world. And these can be used at school by the teacher through structured play. So in this picture here, the children are exploring a Greek myth. They're exploring the story of Theseus and the Minotaur. And they are travelling through the maze, which they made from boxes, as you can see, just ordinary cardboard boxes. And children who find it difficult to read or write often respond well to drama. And including those children who have English as a second language. And in London now, and in many metropolitan areas, you will find children who don't speak English. I worked in a school recently in Peterborough in England, and I think there were about 52 different nationalities in the school, and none of the children spoke English as a first language. So you can see we have quite a cultural mix. And drama can be a fantastic way of these children interacting. And again, you can see children here who are just 4 years old. So drama can be used for learning across the curriculum, and particularly in different subject areas. It works really well in literacy, in reading and writing, speaking and listening. It helps to extend vocabulary, and it helps pupils to understand and express different points of view. And it also gives children the opportunity to explore difficult real-life situations, such as life and death. So through drama, they can explore these concepts that they might have difficulty in understanding in their emotional everyday lives. But drama gives them a chance to explore these issues through fictional situations. So I want to talk a little bit about how drama is used in UK schools. And I would say that drama has been developing in the UK for about the last 60 years. And one of the first leaders was a man called Brian Way. He was one of the first innovators. And in 1946, he was part of a group of lecturers and teachers who considered the relationship between theatre and teaching. And in the early 1950s, he set up a theatre company called Theatre Centre in London. And the idea of it was to provide a place where teachers